Very good morning, Stephen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Stephen, as in the past, we know that the Avid case has attracted a lot of attention in terms of the attendance. Is the scene any different today in terms of the people that are flocking to that have flocked to the High Court?
Yes, indeed, you're right that this case has actually attracted a lot of interest. The court has always been packed, but I think particularly today it's going to be fully packed because as from 9:30 or so on, you've seen a number of people coming in, filling the courtroom. Some of the people that I've seen seated there are people that have now become regular, but I've also seen a lot of new faces, probably because they appreciate the fact that tonight, or rather today's proceedings would be the climax of this whole matter, where the court now has to decide as to what the appropriate sentence is in respect of those that have been convicted of the crimes that they were charged with.
All right, Stephen. Now, the accused have been convicted of crimes ranging from fraud, theft, and reckless to fraudulent conduct of business under the Companies Act. Can you perhaps just run us through the minimum and maximum sentences for these crimes?
Well, it's very difficult to say what the maximum and the minimums would be, especially in respect of the common law crimes. Those would be your theft and fraud, which some of the convicted people have been convicted of. But in respect of the contravention of the Companies Act, the statute there prescribes as to what the maximum and the minimum sentence would be, but it also prescribes then the possibility of a fine as opposed to a prison term. It will be up to the court to decide whether they are going to now sentence the convicted person either to a fine or a prison term. That's within the discretion of the court. But what one would expect, and something that the state has always been advancing, was that at least in respect of all of them, there should be a custodial sentence. That means there should be a prison term that should be given to each of those that have been convicted. But it all sits within the court. The court will now decide as to what would be the appropriate sentence in respect of all these factors. It would obviously have had regard to the personal circumstances of each of the convicts and what the laws say, as well as what society expects and what the interests of justice are.
Now, lastly, given the fact that the state failed to submit arguments for aggravation, will it have any bearing on the sentencing?
No, in fact, the last day the court said the state advanced factors in aggravation, and that's that point where they made it clear that the appropriate sentence, as far as the state is concerned, would be that all these people should be given effective prison term. Now, it will be up to the court to decide whether between what the state is saying and what the accused persons are saying, because the convicted persons were saying rather consider giving us a suspended sentence, or instead of a custodial term, maybe a fine that each of us would then have to pay. But they would have also advanced that the fact that as a result of the case that has run so long, they have also suffered, and they would feel that they have also paid as far as the expectations of the society is concerned. So it will be the court's case really to determine as to which side would it go. Would it go for an effective prison term, or would it, for instance, go for a suspended sentence or maybe a fine, which these people would then have to pay for the crimes that they have been convicted on? Now, it's all up to the court to decide, and as time passes, we would be able to find that very soon.
All right. Yaru, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.